Hey guys. I'm excited to get to pop in and spend some time with you this evening. I know it's been nice having Jeremy to get in and spend time and talk to us about macros and to talk to us about the stages of dieting and that kind of thing. But I get to talk about food, which, you know, is like my favorite thing to get to chat about with you guys. So we're going over some really basic, easy swaps that you can make if you're used to eating a higher carb diet and you want to make that low carb switch. It doesn't have to be all at once. A lot of our people go ham and they just start meal prepping and they never look at a carb that doesn't come from a vegetable again, and that's awesome. But that's not realistic for everybody. So if you want to start by making easy switches, little swaps that you probably won't even mind, there's some ways to do that. So I kind of made a list of some of the places that are hard to give up, some of the carbs that are maybe a little bit closer to our hearts that we're not really ready to get rid of. And the categories that I came up with that you might be struggling with are sandwiches, because that's pretty convenient and kind of nice, pizza, because pizza, pasta, and just bread in general. So let me start by saying there are no foods that are off limits. There's nothing that you can't eat or shouldn't eat. Those of you who have spent any time with us know that as long as you can fit it into your macros, you're good to go. So whether it's, a pasta dinner or something like that, if you can make it fit, have it every day. For a lot of us, we end up spending our carbs elsewhere, and so it's important to kind of prioritize. Also, keep in mind that for those of you going through the Macro Ed program, we have a refeed. So one day a week, we're asking you to get a whole bunch of extra carbs. We're asking for, I think our protocol is between 100 and 300 in a sitting, which is a lot. And so you can kind of think of that as a time to sort of have these treats that you're not really ready to give up. And that's okay too. So you don't have to always make these swaps. We're not going to tell you that you'll never have pizza again or that you can't ever eat a sandwich or anything like that. But if you are looking for ways to make a change, hopefully these tips will help. When it comes to sandwiches, look for wraps. I'm going to warn you that just because it is a wrap does not mean that it is necessarily any better. So make sure that you read your nutrition labels just like with anything else you do. Subway just came out with new wraps and they're automatically served with double meat, which is usually how, we order everything around here. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. These are made for me. I'm sure that they've got it right. So I checked out the nutrition. There were as many carbs in the wrap version of the sandwich as there would have been in the bread version of what I was getting. So yes, it had double meat, which I could have added to the bread. So that was not a win. And there are a lot of times, especially in chain restaurants and that sort of thing, where the wrap doesn't really save you very many carbs. But there are some that you can pick up at the grocery store that will. The brands that I kind of want to highlight, Olay Extreme, and it's spelled with an X, Xtreme, I believe. They have a high fiber, low carb is how it's labeled, wrap that's still really soft and it's still really good. So you can use that to load up with meat and veggies and, whatever you're interested in. You can also cut it up and use it as chips if you want to throw it in an air fryer or pan fry it or whatever. It would make good tortilla chips and that sort of thing. The other is from a brand called Joseph's, and they have a lavash bread, which is really, really big. It's like a large rectangle, and they also have a pita, and both of those are pretty great as far as the carb count goes. Those of you who are counting net carbs, you can definitely pull out fiber for both of those, but in general we count total around here. So those would be your options: Olay Extreme, high fiber, low carb, and the Joseph's pita or the lavash bread would be my suggestions for you. So that covers sandwiches. Also keep in mind that you can do all of the things you like about a sandwich, but without it being in some sort of, bread to carry it. Jimmy John's does a really good job of that. They have the unwich, which is basically all the things you want on your sandwich, but in a lettuce leaf. And that works. So think outside the box when it comes to that sort of thing, and you will find something that you really like, because the chances are what you love about your favorite sandwich is the stuff inside. I will give the exception to anything on sourdough bread. I think at that point it definitely wins. But in general, you can definitely get a lot of the things that you like out of sandwiches without going with the bread or the bun. So keep those in mind. Moving on, actually I'm going to throw one in that I had not planned for, but for rice. The people who have done our meal plans are probably so tired of me talking about cauliflower rice that they want to die. But cauliflower rice is a really good option to keep your carbs down. Obviously rice is a pretty clean carb as far as those go. So don't feel like that rice is something that a person shouldn't eat or anything like that. But if you're looking for more volume and you can't handle the carbs that are in the amount of rice that you want to eat, cauliflower rice is a good option. You can rice it yourself, or you can buy it in the fresh section where it's already been riced. Sometimes it'll even be thrown with some vegetables, or you can get it in the frozen section, which is really good. So you've got lots of options. The frozen and the fresh rice are relatively new, so those are kind of neat. You can check those out in your grocer. It makes amazing fried rice. So definitely one of my favorites. Next up, we've got pizza. We have a recipe, and I'll share all these with you guys in a link at the end. We have a recipe for something called pizza chicken that somehow went viral on Pinterest. I can't ever really tell what Pinterest is doing or what exactly they want from me. But every once in a while, one of our most random recipes will go viral. The pizza chicken and then tortilla soup, that the picture is like me holding a Tupperware on my jeans. It's ridiculous. It's the worst picture ever. But Pinterest really loved it. So the pizza chicken is one that's been really, really popular. Basically, you cut a chicken breast in half, you kind of butterfly it, and then you load it up with your pizza toppings. It's excellent. So that's an option. We also have, it's based off of a fathead pizza crust, for those of you who are kind of in the low-carb world outside of what we do. It's a crust made of cheese and almond flour. So, and again, I'll share these recipes with you guys later, but for macro ed purposes, it's called OMG Pizza, and that's a really good crust that you can build on. We did a cauliflower crust that actually tasted really good. It was just a little bit hard to maneuver. At one point, you have to flip it, and it's really large, and it is so hard to get cauliflower completely dry so that it'll cook up into something breadish. So I would definitely say try OMG before you go for cauliflower if you are a novice. I had some struggles with that one. It turned out fine, but I might have cussed a little bit in my kitchen before I got it right. There's also a pizza crust that you make out of shredded chicken, which turns out great. The store-bought version of that is called Real Good Pizza, and they have it, at least around here, at Kroger. It's actually pretty good. It's a little bit expensive for what it is, but the protein content is out of this world. And then the options for the sandwiches, the lavash bread and the pita and the tortilla, think about those as pizza crust too. It would be more like the cracker, thin crust kind of thing, but those are great things, especially for lunch, to build your pizza on. So keep those in mind. The next one we have is pasta. A lot of people are like, oh, I can never go low carb because I love pasta. Well, we all love pasta too. You are not alone in that. And so we've got some workarounds. Obviously, if it's refeed time or if you can fit it in, have your pasta. It's totally fine. But for those of you who find that gluten kind of irritates you a little bit, some better options are to spiralize vegetables. I love zoodles. They're my favorite. You just take a zucchini and you put it through a spiralizer and you end up with these really cute noodles. If you have tried them and hated them, try a different spiralizer. As long as it's not a taste thing, if it's a texture thing, try a different spiralizer. In the information at the end, I'll give you guys a link to the one that I use. I love it. And I had tried some of the other ones. The handheld ones made like paper noodles, and I thought they were terrible. So I'm glad I tried it again, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. Another vegetable that noodles well, I don't know if noodle can be a verb, but we're going with it, is butternut squash, because it holds up pretty well. It's kind of a firm gourd. It's a good option as far as that goes. Sweet potatoes, while they have a lot of carbs, so I'm not sure it would save you a lot, they make really, really good zoodles as well. Another one to think about is spaghetti squash, which automatically becomes noodles when you cook it. If you guys have ever used spaghetti squash, once you heat it, cook it, bake it, put it in the Instant Pot, whatever it is you do, and you cut into it and get the guts out, you just take a fork and kind of run it over the flesh, and it becomes this noodly option. It has a really good flavor. I don't like it as well as zoodles if I am having, a traditional spaghetti, but I do really like it in casseroles, so that's another great option. For breads, all of the things that we use for sandwiches, the wraps and the lavash bread, are pretty good options. Also, there's recipes for keto bread, fathead rolls, that sort of thing. And again, I'll be glad to share those with you guys. And those are basically breads made out of almond flour and cheese. They're heavy on the fat side of things, but if you're avoiding carbs, you can probably have a little bit of extra room in your fats. So there are options. Some of them are store-bought. Some of them are make at home, but don't feel like that you're automatically counted out just because you like these things. Most of us do, and we fit them in during refeeds, or we fit them in as they'll work. You know, I know I can have half of a bagel in the morning, even though I want the whole thing. I'm just going to settle and I have a half a bagel to get me a little bit closer to my goals. So don't think that the people who are eating low carb or the people who you see in MacroEd are any different or doing anything differently or have any different cravings than you. The fact of the matter is, I think we would all be very happy eating pizza, and sandwiches, and pasta, and rice, and bread all day, every day. But if that option is not getting you where you want to go, there are definitely plenty of other choices. I'm going to turn on the computer to make sure that I can see any comments. So if you guys have comments or questions or suggestions or things that go along with it, let me know. Kat says viral on Pinterest because you're a rock star. No, because they like soup with blue jeans behind it. This is all that I could figure out. Emily, the Olay Extreme, for sure at Walmart, and I think at Kroger too, here locally. Let me see. Here's my master plan. I'm going to put a link at the bottom in the comments. And if you guys will pop in there and just give me your email, it will tag you so that I know you want this information. And I will send you some links. I'll send you some pictures. And then the recipes that we have for the pizza crust, the pizza chicken, that kind of thing, I will make sure that they get to you. Let me go ahead and give you that link while we're talking about it. Anybody else have any questions? Bo outed Kat that she's watching this from Taco Bell. If you're watching it from Taco Bell and you're having their Power Bowl, I'm not even mad about it. Taco Bell is oddly a place that you can actually eat pretty well if you go with the Power Bowl, because it automatically has a bunch of meat, and probably skip either the rice or the beans, depending on what will fit into your carbs. The link that I shared, it has Pilot as the embed, but I changed the options on the nerd side of things, so it will tag you as macro hacks so that I know that's the kind of food that you guys are looking for. Any other questions or anything that you guys want to chat about, or foods that you have that you want to share, or foods you wish you had a solution to or an option or a substitute for, so I can maybe move you in the right direction? Hey, Mags. All right, well, I'm really glad that I got to see you all. I will definitely be sharing some recipes and some links with you all. I'll give you a link to the spiralizer as well. All right, Amy had a great question. Sweets. Yes, all of the sweets. If you're not eating protein cheesecake every day of your life, I don't know why. It is one of the easiest, most fun ways to kind of get in protein but still feel like you're cheating. Some of my friends love to eat it in the office for breakfast. I think that's their favorite, so they can stroll around to all of their coworkers with their cheesecake as they're losing weight. It just kind of throws everybody off. We have some, what in the world? Oh, they're called freeze cakes, and it's like a frozen version, almost if you could make a frozen truffle out of the protein cheesecake that is off the charts. So good, and I'm obsessed with it. There's fudge. That one is up on the blog. I'm going to note that you guys want some sweets. Let me write that down. It is an avocado fudge, and you put a little bit of sea salt on top. It's pretty solid. I'm a really big fan of that. What other desserts? We've done donuts and cupcakes. We've done about 15 different flavors of protein cheesecake. I think that the lemon meringue is my favorite. Has this like lemon curd on top. Amber did an amazing job at that one. It was so good. Maggie, the freezer version is called freeze cakes. It may be in the meal plans. I'll definitely put it in the, I'll add that too, freeze cakes. I'll put it in the attachment that I send you guys tomorrow that has some of these recipes, but it's a good option. Emily likes the key lime pie. It is really good too. And Dole Whips, that was one I came home or I was planning Disney. I was in some kind of Disney mood. And I was like, oh my God, I just need a Dole Whip. Or maybe just Jordan asked for one. But anyway, we managed to hack a Dole Whip with protein powder. I was pretty proud. Trisha says protein cheesecake is life. I will back you up on that. You are definitely not the only one who feels that way. Let me see if I can scroll through these because I'm losing some. If you said anything before the key lime is amazing, somebody hit me with their comment again so that I can catch it. But yes, Amy, to answer your question, there are a million, and most of them, oddly, I use protein powder for. I think because it's something where I can get your protein numbers up, and because it's already sweetened, I can throw it in stuff, and I don't have to worry about adding, maple syrup or honey or something like that. So I can keep the numbers pretty close to what I want them. Also, waffles are a good option. The protein waffle is really pretty good, and the one made with, what did we use? Cinnamon cookie batter. Tastes like French toast. It's stupid good. Oh, that was another question. What is my favorite protein flavor? I think I saw that one come through. For me, I really like strawberry to drink as a protein shake. I like the level 1 strawberry because it's thick, and I like it with milk. Sometimes milk and ice to get it thicker. I like chocolate for shakes and to put in my coffee. So for protein coffee, the chocolate is super legit. I also like chocolate in a smoothie with frozen berries and spinach and rice. Let me write that down, so I'll send you that one too. Berry chocolate smoothie. I like that one. To eat on a regular basis, I use cinnamon cookie batter a lot. I use it a whole lot. I think this fall in every single recipe that I put out that had protein powder, it was cinnamon cookie batter. I'm not a super big fan of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the CTC, but the cinnamon cookie batter, I mean, I don't think there's anything you could put it in that I would not be crazy about. Vanilla is good just to have like a basic. And for cheesecakes, other than the strawberry, ice cream sandwich is probably my favorite. It's the thickest out of all of them. And I probably should admit that I put a couple of crumbled Oreos in that one. And it still works out. The macros are still pretty solid. Abigail, yes. The app, you've got options for apps. I've heard Macros Plus is good. We typically recommend MyFitnessPal, and only because you can use the free version and do everything that you need to. And we had to choose something so that we could upload all of our recipes. So if you use MyFitnessPal and you look up like macroed pizza chicken, for instance, all of my math is already there for you. So you don't have to put it in. You don't have to figure it out. It's already there for you. So any recipe that has ever come from us is already uploaded into MyFitnessPal. So that would definitely be my recommendation, just because it's easy and it'll save you the hassle of, listing stuff and doing that math, because I've already done it for you. Good question. What else you got? Hey, Boom Sauce. Hey, Miss Amanda. I'm getting some pop-ups. I guess when people that I know pop in, it lets me know. I don't know who all is here, but people on my friends list are showing up. You are so welcome, Abigail. And as I'm sure Jeremy would tell you if he were here, if you aren't doing anything, the first thing we would recommend is just to log your food. Pick an app or do pencil paper. I don't care how you get it down, but just write down what you're eating. It will help you sort of take stock of what you're doing, and it will help us know how to direct you. When Jeremy talked about his 4 stages of dieting, the first one is where you just don't know what's going on. Like, you're not paying attention, you're not logging, and that's okay. If that's getting you where you want to go, keep at it. But if it's not, the first thing that we're going to need to know is what you're eating, so that we can know where you need to go. So it's kind of a snapshot for us to see at the beginning. It's not something for us to judge you about. I don't really care what you're eating. I just need to know so that, we can kind of help you get going in the right direction toward what you're wanting. Amanda says, need a jambalaya makeover. Does that mean we need to do another recipe for our jambalaya, or you want to make the jambalaya again? We've been using it in an Instant Pot class at Huntington's Kitchen. It just made the rotation, and every time we make it, I forget that it's on there, and then I get excited all over again. That's a good one. And that's one where we used, I think we used cauliflower rice for that, just to kind of beef it up a little bit as a rice substitute. Another thing I would tell you guys, just since we've got a little bit of time, if you're just getting started, learn the macros in what you're already eating. I just said, like, make sure you log your stuff. But as you learn sort of what's in your routine, you'll see the things that you can kind of keep, the things that make sense, and will get you going. And then you'll be able to see some things that don't. Instead of trying all new foods and all new macros and that sort of thing, if you can find 2 or 3 things that make you really, really comfortable, that are, beneficial for you, that's a great place to start. Then you can kind of slowly add and experiment as you go. I think a lot of us get in trouble when we try to change everything, like all of the things at once. That can kind of set you up for failure. You can only do so much so dramatically for so long. And so giving yourself a little bit of extra time and some grace as you kind of ease in is a good idea. One of the things we're working on right now, we just started, we're getting ready to start our next cycle for the challenge. We have a spring cycle that starts on Monday. And we're kind of restructuring to get ready for it, to kind of ease people in a little bit better. I don't know how many changes will be made for this one versus how much we're like studying this one to see for the next one, but kind of giving us some baby steps. I think lots of times we jump in and we want results in 10 minutes, and so we have to change everything right now. And so we're looking at ways to help you guys make it more of a lifestyle, make it more of a gradual shift instead of something super dramatic that's a little bit more difficult to maintain. All right, Amanda did not like the jambalaya. I am going to put on my list that you would like jambalaya number 2, and I'll see what I can come up with. For those in the master class or those who are in the programs, there is a recipe vault, and we keep adding every week. So every week I'm looking for something new. So having another crack at jambalaya would be great. Spaghetti squash and jambalaya, that sounds excellent, Maggie. And yes, you just rub grace on it. If you've spent any time with us at all, that's kind of my answer to 90% of the, oh my gosh, I screwed up conversations. It's okay. You have the rest of your life to get this right, and we're going to do a little bit better today than we did yesterday, and if we didn't, we'll just try again tomorrow. So like in my big fat Greek wedding where they're spraying Windex on everything, we're just rubbing grace on all of the things. Yeah, Max, I will check Pinterest to see what kind of jambalaya options are available. Justin Wilson. John Plant, how many recipes you need? Are you the one that guessed that I had like 1,800 recipes? I feel like that was you. We did, not too terribly long ago, we kind of had a guess how many jelly beans are in the jar sort of thing, but on macro ed recipes. We've been going a little bit over 2 years, so I was like, how many do you think we had? At that point, we were really close to 450. I think we've crossed over that by now. Yeah, but John thought I had 1,500. God bless you. Yes, Maggie, please send that over. That would be great. Air fryer stuff. Oh my God. Okay. You keep burning everything in it. Here's where to start. Gosh, I'm so excited about the air fryer. Okay, so I'm doing chicken legs in it tomorrow. And here are my tips so far. It tells you to like toss whatever you're doing in a bowl or in a bag, or don't do that. That's just a waste of time. Drizzle it in the pan, like put your meat or whatever down in there and then drizzle it and shake it really fast. If you don't shake it fast, it'll go through the holes to the bottom and you will lose it. But shake it really fast. One of the other things that I've been doing to give things kind of a crust, like obviously I don't want to throw it in, flour if I can help it. I've been putting dry ranch powder, which is like my secret weapon for everything, with baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder. I put it in like a gallon-sized Ziploc and toss whatever, I'm going to make in there. And that has made a huge difference. That has been a really good kind of crust and coating. So those would be my suggestions. Just sort of dry off whatever you're going to make so that things will stick to it. Toss it in some olive oil or coconut oil or whatever you want to do, and then toss it in the baking powder and dry ranch. I think the ratios I've probably done have been about a tablespoon of dry ranch to 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Also, to keep from burning, depending on your recipe, make sure that you go on the low end, but I also take it out about halfway through and turn it and check it and make sure that things are going okay. I don't really trust things for the whole time. That may help. Heather, if you have specific things that are going on or ways that it's burning, or you want to tell me what you made, I may be able to help you troubleshoot better. But so far, drizzling the oil down in the basket has helped. And I don't remember, I might have done that after I had tossed it in the baking powder and ranch. We did, when I do the legs, I will baste them just with a brush with barbecue sauce or buffalo sauce or whatever. Basting brush lets you use a lot less. You're probably eating as much, but you're using less, so you can count less by basting it on. Ooh, yeah. I messed up mushrooms, I think. I don't know what I did. They're absolutely terrible. I did the same thing where I like tossed them and then fried them. They were awful. Have you done Brussels sprouts yet? They're like stupid good. I don't know that I did the ranch and baking powder with Brussels sprouts. I think I just threw them in and like drizzled them with olive oil. Megan Lamb, air fryer, is it faster than the oven like the Instant Pot? Yes, but the benefit really, I think, is the way that it finishes. Like you can get that crispy situation. So you can bake wings and they'll get done. You can Instant Pot wings and they'll get done, but they won't be crispy like if they had been fried. So air fryer, I think it wins. Not necessarily because it's more convenient, because baking is more convenient because you can, fill your entire oven versus the air fryer has, a smaller basket. But they're crispy. You can get, especially things that have like a skin on them, they get amazing. Yeah, I haven't. So I don't know how this happened. I'm married to the only guy in the world who will not eat chicken wings on a bone. I don't get it. He'll eat chicken legs, which is why that's what we're doing. But I haven't done chicken wings yet. Definitely on my list, but I would do it exactly the same way. I would toss it in the baking powder and ranch, let it get about halfway done, and then baste it with buffalo sauce or whatever you want it to be. Yes, that works. That works, Megan. To go with a small basket. I can't quite figure out the different sizes. Like I have a 5.9 quart. It was one of the biggest ones that you could get when I got it. But it's big this way, like up and down. I don't know that it's any wider. And for vegetables, I don't think it matters. You can like stack them on top of each other. But for meats, I only like one layer. So I'm not sure that I really got extra space by getting the bigger one. But maybe. Any other questions? And Heather, I'll be sure to hit you up when I get some wings going. Hey, Caitlin and Jordan. Thank you guys for hanging out. I know there's a million things you could be doing tonight. Everybody in my house is asleep, so I will be joining them soon. But I was really excited to get to jump in. Jeremy's having all the fun and getting to hang out with y'all this week. So I wanted to do that. Yes, Amanda Smith is ready to grill. Me too. There are so many things you can do when you are throwing meats and vegetables on a grill. They're like automatically macro friendly. We have 15 billion, marinades and dry rubs and whatever. It's just easier to eat well when you plan on eating meat and vegetables and you have this cool way to fix them all the time. And vegetables are getting ready to come into season and be much, much better. Fruits too. So it's about to get a lot easier to eat well. In the winter, it's not quite as good. Ooh, okay, so Green Egg is, for those of you who are following comments, is a smoker. And we didn't get that one, but we got a different smoker last year. So we'll definitely be doing some recipes on that, which I'm thrilled about. Smoking meat takes all day. It is like the opposite of the Instant Pot. Instant Pot cooks in like 10 seconds, and the smoker takes like literally 10 hours sometimes. But man, you can't do, a pork shoulder or something any better than you can in a smoker. So I'm excited about those. I will tell you as a precursor, we're going to work on a dry rub. I think we even had one last year. But my favorite right now when I'm like in a hurry and busy and lazy is Weber. Weber does a pork rub that is just off the charts. And the carbs aren't super bad. You're not using enough of it to ruin your life or anything. All right. So since we're talking about all the different foods in the meal plans, we're trying something new. if you guys have spent much time with me, I get going about 6 months on something, and then I'm like, ooh, I feel like there's a better way to do it. I feel like people would rather have it this way, or somebody asked me for this, and so we're going to build it. But one of the things we're trying is, and I think it will probably stick, is a meal plan subscription. So instead of buying like, $50 for 8 weeks of meal plans, we're kind of dripping them out, and we're going to just keep them going as long as you want to stay. And they're $14 a month. They're available. I'll put that in the link too. Let me include this in my notes for meal plans. Yeah, so you get 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, 4 dinners, and a party, which is like a super fun dinner that you could invite people to and they wouldn't know that you're eating well, which is kind of fun. And some of them have like snacks or extras, a seasoning or a sauce or a dessert or something like that. So it averages out to be about 8 to 10 recipes every week. You don't have to make them all. For some of you guys, one would last 3 weeks, and that's totally fine. But they'll hit you every Friday, and I'm really excited about it. We're redoing the meal plans so that they look a little bit different. We're updating the grocery lists and stuff. But that subscription thing, I think, will be cool for people who just don't want to have to think about it. So Friday, probably Friday morning, I'll just pop into your email and say, cool, here you go. You're off the hook on meal planning for this week. Run to the grocery store, you're ready to go. And they're things that we've tested, so you're not spending all your time on Pinterest like, this looks good, but is it really? Will my family eat it? Or this looks awesome, but it has, this ingredient that I'm not crazy about, or the macros aren't right. We've already hacked them all, and we've already tested them on my family or, somebody's family in the team. Christina Haymaker, do they start this week? I think so. I think they will start this Friday. For people who got in on those. The cool thing, whenever you jump in, they'll start. Instead of having like open and closed options, you can get in on those anytime. But they should start the Friday after you buy them. So for those of you who got them last week, that would be this coming Friday. And if you buy them on a Friday, I don't really know when they start. There's going to be some like internet magic on that. We've got them planned and spaced out and stuff, but I'm really excited. The ones we're getting ready to start are from our spring plan. So before it would have been volume 2. And so it will be more grilling out and that kind of stuff. John Plant, you don't understand the membership site. What is giving you trouble? Are you talking about the Teachable, login into Teachable? Assuming that we're talking about logging into the Teachable courses, they start this coming Monday. So the only things that are in there right now are like introductory things, and you should be getting emails. So if you're not, check your email spam filters and junk, and it will kind of guide you through like, hey, today read this, or hey, here's a video, make sure that you catch it there. John, it will make sense this coming Monday, I think. Right now, we're just kind of getting everybody in the doors before we close so we can get started on the challenge. John was asking about the membership site. Because we're getting ready to start a challenge, we're kind of getting everybody sifted through. So if that's something, if you guys have been looking to work with Jeremy, we will get rolling on Monday, and then I think the next time we'll be able to do it in that capacity will probably be September. So that's if you're looking to do stuff before summer so that you kind of have more confidence and that kind of stuff going into vacation, this would be a good time to get going. And John, if you have specific questions, just shoot me an email or send me a Facebook message. But I think it'll all kind of come out in the wash on Monday when we get going. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to know about or chat about? I'm going to put that the link in here one more time, and I'll make sure I made a little list. I already had a few, but I've added the things that you guys have asked for so that I have everything you're looking for in an attachment tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thanks for spending some time with me this evening. I will be seeing you, I think, one more time before the week is over. So I appreciate you guys spending this time and bringing your questions and visiting with me. I'm always glad when I get to be with you guys. Talk to you later.